Hello and welcome to using a project management tool to get organized. We're going to have some fun today talking about getting organized and using some tech, which I love. I am a big techie to do so. So a little about me. Hi, my name's Kimberly Sharon, and in 2008 I started blogging about homeschooling, and then I started offering writing, editing, social media tech services to clients because people were wanting me to show them how to use WordPress and to write for them and edit for them because that's what I was doing on my own blog. And now I am a certified online business manager helping coaches, consultants, and bloggers concentrate on their genius work instead of on their business, all the little things that need to be done. So I'm a homeschool coach helping parents think outside the box and enjoy homeschooling as well. And I live on the east coast of Canada in Halifax with my husband and my son and my daughter. And I've included a photo of my daughter here because she's largely my why, what drives me, because I'm busy putting her through all her dance training so she can train as a dancer and choreographer. She's going to be going to post-secondary this fall. And in my spare time, you'll see me knitting and hand spinning at my spinning wheel, reading and volunteering in local theater, which is what you see me doing here. That's me acting on stage, and sometimes you'll see me behind the stage or directing. I just love theater. So today you're going to learn how some of the what some of the project management tools are that you can choose from, how to create your control center in a project management tool, how to organize your life, your work, and homeschool projects and activities in one place so you don't forget deadlines, and how your child can use a project management tool in high school and post-secondary education and beyond. So let's get started. First, I'm going to talk about just some of the project management tools out there. There are a zillion to choose from. Some are free, some are not. Some have free limited memberships that are like subscriptions, and you can pay for them if you want more options. So let's get into some of my favorites. Plutio you may not have heard of. It's not a super mainstream one. I love it though. That's what I use for myself most of the time. Although, I'm a techie, so I play with a lot of tools, but I recommend finding one you like and sticking to it. Try not to jump around. I just do because it's beneficial for my clients that I know about a lot of different ones. So Plutio is simple. I like that it's simple. It's not super crazy. It's not cluttered. It's a simple interface to look at. It's thoroughly customizable. I love that I can change all the colors of everything and make it look super pretty and give everything images for covers and things like that. I love doing that for my clients when I'm working with clients on a one-off project in the tool, in my tool, because it's great to customize it with their colors. It's just like an extra special touch. So Plutio is perfect for entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur or your child is an entrepreneur, it's great because you can send out invoices through it. You can send out proposals through it. You can basically run your whole business through it. So it's a great option. It's not just a project management tool. So there is no free version of Plutio. It's $15 a month and up. And one nice thing is you don't have to pay per teammate or client in there like some other tools. So it's $30 a month for unlimited clients and teammates if you want, which is a great option again for an entrepreneur who's working with clients. ClickUp is fairly new actually on the block. It's not really old and established like some other tools I'm going to talk about in a minute. But it's super sophisticated. It has tons of automations and integrations in it that you can really, this is great for business, especially because it can do so many things. It can send emails. You can send emails to it. I mean, it's pretty great. So it's not just for business though. I mean, it's a great option for even your homeschool or your life, because it is a great tool. And you can use the free plan indefinitely. It doesn't do everything. It doesn't have all the automations and integrations, of course. So if you have a big team, if you're running a business and you have a big team, it can get kind of pricey, because it's $6.30 to $11.35 per month, depending on if you go monthly or yearly to pay. So that can get pricey, but it's pretty inexpensive, like $6.30 a month for one person. So, I mean, if you have 10 kids, this is going to get too much. So you might want to go with Plutio or just try the free plan, which is probably enough for your homeschool. Another tool that you probably have never heard of is Timeliner. I love it because it's, again, it's simple interface. It doesn't overwhelm you when you look at it like ClickUp can. It has gorgeous timelines. That's the thing that they spent the most time on, getting beautiful. So timelines are the bars of time. I'll show you an example, and you probably know what a timeline is when you're working on a timeline with your kids. It's the same thing. It was created by a homeschool dad, and he's pretty great. And you can get a lifetime subscription. All the links to these are in your handout, so if you haven't already grabbed your handout, pause this and go now if you want. And it's these links to all these tools are in your handout. And so you can get a lifetime subscription, just pay once for $29.99, and then you're done. And that's for one person using it, so if you want to use it for your homeschool, it's I think $50 for pretty much unlimited people using it, so that would be a good option. So those are 3 of my favorite project management tools. Other project management tools, I'm sure you've heard of Trello. Who hasn't heard of Trello? It's one of the originals. It's really easy to use. The free plan is really good, so that's a good one to use as well with your kids or even your business or your life, whatever you're doing. Asana is another tool that a lot of people use. One fun thing about Asana is when you finish a project and you click that you're finished, there's a unicorn that zooms around, which is super fun. So when my clients are using that, it makes me smile every time. Monday is a little newer, really sophisticated tool, very customizable. You can use so many colors and things. It looks beautiful. Monday looks beautiful. It's one of the more pricey ones out there. Amazing Marvin. You might want to look into this if your child has ADHD, or you do, or you're a procrastinator, or they are. Because it's excellent. It was made specifically to battle procrastination, and it's a very personal project management tool. So I don't recommend using this for business, but I do recommend using it personally. So this is a great one to give your kids a subscription to as they're heading off to university or college, because they can get 50% off if they're a student. So students get 50% off, which makes it pretty affordable, and it's a pretty great tool for personal productivity. So let's learn how to create your control center in a project management tool. So what's a control center? Well, it's basically your external brain. It's where you keep everything. Because if you keep it all in your brain, it clutters up in your brain and gives us a headache. If you're somebody like me, you know what I mean. So you're going to keep everything in your control center. Your ongoing, recurring things that you do every day. So in your homeschool, that's your daily language arts lesson. In your life, that's washing the dishes. And you don't have to necessarily put that in a system, but you can if everybody's taking turns washing dishes. You can put it in for each person if you're using it for your whole family. And weekly blog posts if you're running a business or if you're a blogger. And what are projects? Well, an example of a project is an essay that you're doing for language arts. Organizing the kitchen cupboards was a project with a beginning and end date. And hopefully you have a goal, I want to get it done by this time, right? Writing a book, again, is a project, again, with a beginning and end date. You have a deadline you want to reach. You don't want to just be perpetually writing your book for years like I am. I've set a date now, so I'll be having it out this year. So you want to keep those ongoing recurring projects in your control center and your actual projects with deadlines in your control center. So what you need to do is write down your ideas, and you can keep them in your project management system too, or you can actually write them down on paper, and then you need to decide what you're going to work on, and then you need to make a plan. So let's talk about planning habits. There's 3 planning habits that you should have. One is looking over your plan monthly. What is coming up this month? What is coming up this month in your homeschool? What's coming up in your life? What's coming up in your work? And then weekly, you want to write down what 3 things you want to accomplish. And again, this can be keeping it in your project management tool. And you want to think about in your homeschool, what do you want to accomplish in your life and your work? And then what 3 things do you want to get done today? Because we can run around all over the place, putting up fires, sometimes literally, and forget that we have priorities and there's things that we actually want to get done today. And be specific. So working on your book is not something that you want to get done today. Writing 500 words is something you want to get done today. So make sure you're specific, because you won't get it done if you're not specific. And putting it in your project management tool can help. So when you're working on a project plan includes what? So the tasks. So, and again, it shouldn't just be write my book. It should be write 500 words a day, and you're checking that off. Or, on Friday, review chapter 1. Review and edit chapter 1. That's a task. And it can include 2, so that if that's you doing it, or your editor if you have one. And when, so again, like I said, Friday, you're looking that over. That's your deadline when you want to get that done. And then you have your bigger deadline, like when you want the whole thing done and launched, like launch day of your book, for instance. So all things are necessary, or it's not a plan. So you need your what, your who, and your when, or it's not a plan, and you're not going to get it done. You're just going to keep procrastinating. Remember, all projects have a start and end date. Otherwise, your project is only a wish. So to make it an actual project plan, you need to have a start and end date. So here's a book recommendation for you, Getting Things Done by David Allen. It is a fantastic book. Highly recommend reading it. Get your kids to read it when they're heading off to college or university, because it's a great system for getting everything out of your head and onto paper or in a project management tool. So here's what that looks like. This is kind of complicated, but bear with me. So GTD is getting things done. So if you hear people mention GTD, you've heard a lot in the productivity world. That's what they're talking about, getting things done. So you take your tasks, ideas, and all your mental clutter, the stuff that's crowding your brain and making you crazy, and you add them as tasks in your inbox. So you have an inbox in your project management system. You just call it inbox. So you can just list all the tasks, and then you can organize them. So what is it? Is it an actionable task? Is it something you can do something about? Because you've just gotten rid of all your mental clutter. Some of it you're not going to be able to do anything about it. You can just delete it, or move it as a reference to a project, or attach it to another task if it's just information. So if it is an actionable task, then what is the next action? So see, this is going to keep you from being a procrastinator. You've got to figure out what you need to do first, right? To get that project done. So if it's going to take less than 2 minutes, if it's like call the chiropractor because your daughter needs to go to the chiropractor, then do it right now. And it's done. Mark it as done. If it can be done by somebody else, like in your business, add it to a project and delegate it. If you're waiting on something in order to complete it, add an at waiting label. You can do this again. You can add labels in your project management system. Everything that's left, you need to defer it. It needs to be done on a specific day or time. Give it a task and a due date. Always give things a due date. So important. Even if it's just, like give it a due date of tomorrow for now, and then you can move it around if you need to. But if you don't give it a due date, you're not going to see it in your project management tool. It's just going to kind of get buried, and you're going to forget about it. So just like as if you never even wrote it down. And then there's things to do at the next opportunity, add a next label, or any other labels. So if it requires more than one step, and that's the next action, is it a priority right now? If no, put it into someday. So if it's one of those things you want to do someday, like you want to write a book someday, but not right now, put it in someday. So it's not like rattling around in your head. It's actually in your project management tool under the someday file. And then when you have time, you can pull out that someday file and say, hey, what do I want to move up in my priorities? So if it is a priority right now, then create a new project, with a due date soon, whenever you need that date. So one of those things can be like if your child's writing an essay, they have a variety of dates, and it shouldn't just be like get the essay done. Remember, you need those next actions. So you need all the steps in to get to the essay, because just telling your child write an essay isn't helpful, because they'll write it the night before, because they don't have steps laid out with little mini deadlines, right? And you need to do that for all of your projects as well. So let me give you a few examples of what getting organized can look like in a project management tool. So I'm going to use a few different project management tools. Like I said, I love them. I love them all. So you're not going to see a full-bodied example with like all of my stuff in it, because that's like airing my dirty laundry. So I'm just going to give you really simple examples of what things can look like. So remember I mentioned Amazing Marvin, and I wanted to look at that because even though I'm not personally using it, I think that I'm probably going to be handing this to my daughter as she heads off to college this fall, because I think it could really help her. And again, you get 50% off as a student, which is pretty cool. So here, this is set up. You can set up a bunch of different templates, but I've got this set up for GTD, for getting things done. So we've got our inbox, today, projects, next actions, what we're waiting for, the overall calendar, communication, meetings, someday maybe, focus areas, reference, and find. So, if you go to the inbox, you can see I typed out scholarship application. So I just jotted down, hey, there's a scholarship application we need to figure out. So then you can drop this, into a project, and you can add all the steps. You can schedule it out. You can add subtasks, right? So we could add, what do we need to do first? Well, for the scholarship application, we probably need to read over the expectations, directions, right? And then we need to, and so on. And we can add, a due date here. But we should probably drop this in, the projects So it's not just in our inbox. So your student can go through like what's going on today, what projects do we have going on, what are my next actions. So this is a great way, great way to organize your life, or your university studies, or anything personal. And this is only one of the ways to set this up. There's a bunch of ways to set up Amazing Marvin. This is just one of the templates, and if some other template appeals to you, that's great. And again, it's really easy, like very simple and uncluttered and clear. So I love that about this. So definitely an option, like I said, for personal and for your studies. Homeschool and high school could benefit from this as well. Okay, so let's take a look at ClickUp. ClickUp's a little more sophisticated and a little more kind of cluttered sometimes. So here's just an example of how you could set up ClickUp. So you'll see you can add spaces. So here's a space called marketing. Here's a space called leads and clients. Here's a space called SOP, standard operating procedures. And here's just, the general space that you're given at the beginning. So this is the free version of ClickUp. So you can see you can already do lots of things like, color code things, label things. I have this on dark mode. I like dark mode because it's easier on my eyes. A lot of other people don't. So you can also have it be white as well if you don't like the dark color on your eyes. So here, if you're running a blog and you're planning all of your marketing for Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Labor Day, you're planning out all your blog posts, or you could plan out all of your 10% off for each, 10% off for Christmas, or bonuses for Christmas, or whatever you're planning here. You can have a promotional calendar in here, add your YouTube plan, your blog. I don't have everything built out in here, but you could have a promotional calendar, so you get 10% off at different times. This is just an example. This isn't mine. And you could map out all of your, upcoming YouTube content, and when everything is due, your blog and when everything is due. You can look at things as a list, as a board, as a calendar, like like a Kanban board. So that's where you move your tasks from to do to in progress to proof to somebody, to one of your teammates to look over, or that could be for mom to look over homeschool work and then to complete. So this is a great workflow, a board workflow, and this is kind of how Trello works usually. So if you like this, you might like Trello. You could try Trello. So you could do your Facebook Lives, your social media. You could have newsletters, your PR work, everything all organized. And then you could have your leads and clients. So when you get leads, you can move it as a board. I didn't set it up, but you can move it as a board from to do to in progress to done. So if you're you have a potential client and you're responding for a request for a proposal, you can mark that you've responded. You can mark that you've had a chat with them, and then you can mark if you got the client or not, all in here. And then standard operating procedures is a great thing to do for your business. So that's a great thing to keep in your project management tool as well. So these are just some of the things that you can keep in your tool for your business, for instance. And you can also use this for your homeschool. You can use this personally, and put in all your deadlines for things that are coming up so you don't forget. So moving on to Plutio. So you can see I color-coded things here. I'm also using dark mode in Plutio, but you don't have to. You can switch it so it's brighter. But again, I like dark mode on my eyes. So here's just kind of a sample project, like if you're working with a client in your own project management tool, in your own, like for instance, Plutio. So this is like the client can put their task request in here, and things that are incomplete can go here. And the parking lot, I like the parking lot for things that we're not doing right now, but we'd like to do. So that's kind of like someday. So you can call it a parking lot, or you can call it someday. Things on pause, things to get to later. So when you're actually working on those tasks that the client has requested, you can put them in incoming, in progress, put recurring ones here. And you can, on all of these project management tools, you can have the recurring tasks come up every week automatically with the new deadline, so you don't have to put it in every week. So it's just a recurring task that pops right up on you. And then I didn't put covers, so these are my pretty covers I made. I didn't put covers for in review or parking lot, but for parking lot I put a car and then complete. And you can add any task group that you want. You can make any covers that you want, like in Canva, and then upload them in here. You can put pretty pictures in here, whatever you want. I love how customizable Plutio is. And as you can see, you can also create proposals. You can organize all your clients in here and your teammates. You can look at the calendar to see what's coming up. And the inbox is your chats with everybody. You can create forms that people can fill out and send to you. So you can do all of this right here in your project management tool. It's a great way to organize either, you can organize your homeschool this way, or your personal life, or your work life. Love it. So let's look at Timeliner lastly. This is my daughter, Minuet. This is just a mock-up. This isn't, we're not in November. So this is just an example of how you can organize homeschool work in a project management tool. So you can put by subject: math, science, history, geography, English, foreign language, art, and dance. We're keeping track of her performances. So when you click, when you click on it, I'm not quite sure why it wasn't clicking there. You have a start date and a finish date. So this is like this week, do these lessons and check them off as you go. So that's one way to do it. And then of course you'd have special projects. You could have to-dos. You could add this week, do research for your project. So research from 3 sources on, X project or whatever. And then you can keep track of where they are in this, because they go in every day and they check off what they finished and where they're at. And it's great to get kids to use these tools because A, it will help them, like I said, in college and university, and B, it will help them in work, because so many workplaces use these tools, and if your child already knows how to, that is a boon. So definitely enjoy messing around with some project management tools. Everybody is different. Some people will hate the look of this. Some people will love the look of it. Use what works for you and what works for your family, and enjoy. Let me show you the timelines. Here's an example of a timeline here on Timeliner, and this is why it's called Timeliner, because the timelines are so beautiful. So you can organize your project and you can see it all laid out here. And a lot of other tools have timelines too, but I love Timeliner's timelines because they're so pretty. So I hope you have fun showing your kids these tools and trying them out, um, and working together to find a system that works for you and find a system that works for you in your life and your business as well. Take care.